Hi everyone and welcome to this video. So, as a lot of you know, I like messing around with these cells, these 18650 cells. I've got a lot of them and I'm always playing around with them, or at least I always used to be playing around with them. I've done lots of different stuff like this 25 cell charger thing where basically I wired them all together. I made this thing with springs with a PCV and I hooked them up to my DC power supply and I charge 25 at a time. But these are consumer grade chargers, 18650 chargers, okay? I was very kindly supplied these free of charge by a company called Banggood, so thank you to Banggood for supplying these. I guess in a way they're sponsoring this video by supplying them. I didn't pay for anything. And I'll put the links in the description for each of these, but that being said, it's completely unbiased. I've not been paid to do it. So I'm going to go through them, I'm going to review these, and I'm going to tell you what I think is good and bad about each one. If you do wish to buy them, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine. Okay, so here we go. So first things first, well there are two things first actually. First thing is the overexposure. I'm very sorry about that, but when I lift it up you'll see that it's fine. The second thing is, why am I wearing gloves? Well, it's because it's freezing in here. I record my videos from my office and at the moment it's freezing, so that's why I'm wearing gloves. But actually it's quite cool, isn't it? I might start doing this in all of my videos. Yeah. Anyway. So I'll start with this one. This one's called Lithium or Kayla or something. LII402, and the quality isn't too bad. It isn't too bad, you know. It's fairly solid. I think the design is a little bit archaic though. So this one, what I don't like, one of the things I don't like about it is the way that this moves here, and if you don't get it quite right, it just simply doesn't recognise the first and the fourth, particularly the cells. These things here are a little bit cheap as well. It just feels cheap, and the mode thing here, it feels cheap. It really does feel cheap. So if you press it once, it shows you the chemistry which is currently in there, and then it goes, to charging it, and it shows you 100% here when it's done. Although, it doesn't tell you the voltage or anything like that, or it doesn't tell you, how long it took to charge or anything like that. Not only that, I've got a 2 amp adapter in here, and if I hold this it goes up to 700 milliamps charge, so there's 350 milliamps each, and 1000, so that's allegedly charging at 500 milliamps each now, which is good if I want a faster charge or if I've got larger capacity cells, but it doesn't go up to 2000 and I don't know why, but the charger, the adapter will allow 2 amp, it is a 2 amp adapter or charger. Anyway, so when it comes to the limitations of this little unit, that's about it. That's kind of all it does. It shows you when it's 100%, it lets you choose the charging current, and that's about it. Like I said, the contacts aren't brilliant. I mean, if you move this slightly over here, it kind of wobbles, and you see it can actually lose contact, and then it does a few random things. But the thing is about this one, it costs £6.13, so it's the cheapest one. However, it's not the one that I recommend. I mean, yeah. The cable also isn't very long either, it's about 30 centimetres. It does have this output thing, but I don't really know, I don't really think you'd be using that. Yeah. So that's what I think about that one. Here's its box as well. It does actually say 2000 milliamp hour, and it's got its statistics here. Compatible batteries. Yep. So there's that one. £6.13. Here's the next one. This one's called the XStar VC6. I'm not sure if that's supposed to say Star VC6, but Anyway, the first thing about this one is that it does have a 60cm cable, or it looks like 60 centimeters. It's got a blue inner, which suggests to me that it's compatible with USB 3, which I think allows a lot more current to flow through. Yeah, it says here 2.1 amps, so it does suggest that this one actually can charge at 2 amps. Anyway, I'll plug this in. It says 5 volts, 2.1 amps. Plug this in over here. Now it says 2.1, but this charger or adapter is actually 2 amp. And you can see it's got quite a nice display there. So here we've got the actual voltage, we've got the charge current. You can't change the charge current on this one. It's set at whatever the unit decides to set it at. Now if you change, oops, hang on, that turns the display off, that turns it back on. Now if you change here, it goes through the channels. Now this one has a problem with channels. So channel 1, channel 3, it's a little bit confusing. Now if I press it once, it goes to channel 2, and I would expect it to go to channel 4, but it doesn't. So channel 1, channel 3, channel 2, channel 3, which kind of tells you that maybe there's a problem with channel 4. So let's have a look at the contacts. The contacts look okay. The springiness is not too bad. Again, it's okay. It's okay. Like the other one though, I don't like that this is too wobbly. You see how much it wobbles around here? I don't particularly like that. But anyway, now it has got channel 4. So channel 2 and channel 3, channel 1 and channel 4. So it tells you the voltage here, and when it's full, it says full. Now there is actually something peculiar about this one that I've noticed. And if you get a cell that's, you could say, overcharged, so maybe it's like 4.21 volts or whatever, it doesn't recognise the cell. So it just assumes that it's not there, and I don't know what the logic is behind that. Maybe it's some sort of design fault or something, I don't know. But anyway, when it is charging, it clocks the amount of milliamp hours that goes into it. So if you've got a dead cell and you put it in, you can see how many milliamp hours of current are going into it in order to know the charging capacity. It's not the be all and the end all, but it does help. Anyway, so you have this kind of meter thing here. Now it would be nicer, it'd probably be nicer if you could see like 4.16, 4.17. You can't on this particular unit. But still, it works fine. As long as you can get these contacts in properly, it works fine. A little bit confusing here the way this works here, where you've got to switch channel 1 and 4 and then 2 and 3. And of course that's not, you can't edit that. But other than that, it's a fairly good unit. And what I do like about it is that it has these little rubber feet here. It is quite a big unit as well, really. So again, it can work with several different types, and this is called the XStar VC6. Now this one, if I remember rightly, it's about £16 to buy. Let me just check. It is, yeah, £16.65. So yeah, it's over 3 times the price of the other one. But there you go, it works. It's pretty good, really. As you can see at the minute, it's charging 500 milliamps, but that's not surprising since there's only one cell to charge. I'll show you the box for this one as well. Hang on a second. So this one gets a little bag that comes with it as well, and there you go. It says XStar, and it fits quite nicely in the bag, in there like that. Here's the box. And it's got all the different types of cells that it can charge. Useful if you're charging anything else other than 18650, which I won't be, but maybe some of you are. Yeah, it's got some details here. Yep, and the manual. I don't think I've shown you the other manual, but there was nothing in it anyway, really, nothing worth looking at. Now this one isn't a particularly good manual because basically only that page is English, and it doesn't really tell you anything out of the ordinary anyway. Look, it just labels what's what. Yeah. It says here revivable batteries will start charging within 10 minutes. But by revivable, I think it means flat, you know. Alright, so this next one, this is very well built. It's a very good quality unit. Very well built. The display is very good. The labelling's very good. The quality, the plastic's good. The springiness, it's not too springy and not too lax. It's nice to, you know, to press down. And the contact is good as well. The contact's good. It's well designed. So this is the Nightcore, is that right? Nightcore UM2. And there you get a couple more details here. The quality is very good. Again, it can charge lots of different cells. But this seems to grip better than the other two though. If the cells are only small, 18650, it grips them well. It's also got its rubber feet, and the rubber feet hold it well. So all in all, this is a great, you know, great quality unit. The cable's quite thick and it's 60 centimeters long, which is better as well. Now, the downside of this unit is that it only charges 2 cells, whereas the others charge 4 cells. So the Nightcore one, I've got 2 cells in, and this is how it looks. Hang on, let me just get that so you can see. So you've got slot 1 and slot 2, and this screen shows you 1 slot at a time. So to change them, you press that C, slot 1 and slot 2. So slot 1, so it's saying here 18 milliamp hour, that's the capacity so far. 180 milliamps, that's how much it's decided that it's letting it charge by. You've got the charging time, which is 4 minutes, and you've got the voltage, which is 4.19 volts, and you've got the charge mode here, which is lithium ion, 4.2 volts, and it's doing constant voltage at the moment as opposed to constant current. So I press C and we can see the statistics of the other cell. So with this charger, you can actually change the amount of current that it could potentially draw. So if I hold this C here, hold C, and it's saying 500 milliamps. So if I press V, you can see I can switch it up all the way up. Oh, to 1 amp. Hang on. So I switch it up to 1 amp, and now if I press that, it should switch up to 1 amp. Oops, I don't want to do that. Lithium ion. Oh, you can also change this as well to the charging voltage. So I could charge it to 4.3 volts if I wanted. I'll just press that. I think I have to hold it. Here we go. I'll do the same to slot 2. Hold the C button. Change that to 1000. So we're charging it at 1 amp. Lithium ion 4.2, and there we go. So slot number 2 now is charging at 800. Let me just check that again. Press V to, so it's charging at 800 milliamps, which is like a fast charge. That's how much it's consumed so far. So this is a really good unit. You see how fast you can charge it? 920 milliamps, and that's how much it's drawn so far. Now, this is a really good unit. It's really good quality. It's very well built, but the problem is that it only charges 2 at a time, which is a shame, really. Yeah. Given the quality of the user interface and stuff like that, although it is a little bit more complicated, it's a shame that it charges 2 and not 4, because that would have been so much better. Now, this unit as well, this is the most expensive unit out of the 5. Let me just check the price. I think it was £23, which is very expensive for a charger. Let me check. Yeah, it's £23 and 3p. So it is expensive. Anyway, the box. Let's show you the box and the manual. The manual's nothing special, although the English is fairly good. They're about 1 or 2 pages, which is the best manual so far, but then you would expect that for something that's £23. You get this usual sort of stuff, warranty card. The packaging is the best of the 5 as well, but the packaging doesn't really matter, does it? Yep, so the packaging, the box is good. Now, this is a funny thing. It says single slot maximum output 1500 milliamps. But presumably that means that you could charge at 3 amps, but it says here a 2 amp input. But it does say here 1500 milliamps times 2, so I'm not sure. Maybe if you were to plug it into a 3 amp input, 5 volts, 3 amps, probably would work, I don't know. Yeah, there are all the different types of batteries that it can charge. And it certainly looks impressive. And it is impressive, really. It is impressive. But it's a shame that it only charges 2. Yeah, and the display is a little bit more complicated than what it probably needs to be. Anyway, that's that one. This is the 4th one. So this one is the same brand as the first one. This one here. You see? Lithium Kayla or Lithium Kayla or something. Now, this one has potential, but there's a few things wrong with it. So, to start with, it has a fairly cheap cable, but it's 1 unit. As opposed to not having an adapter at all, this one does have an adapter. So 12 volts, 2 amps. It does have an adapter, and it's about, let's see, I'd say it's more than 60 centimetres. On the way for 90, I would say. So it's quite a long cable. It has its dedicated adapter, which is good. But it has some issues. So to start with, if there are no cells in there, it says null, which is not the best of things really, but it's not the end of the world. The build quality is, it's not that good. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't fall apart, so that's one thing. It doesn't have rubber feet, so it slides around. Again, it's not the end of the world. It has this output 5 volts, which is what the other Lithium Kayla one does as well. Again, you're probably not going to use that though, but whatever. So 12 volts in. It's got plenty of power. But yeah, now these contacts here are very stiff. They're very stiff, and the angle isn't quite right. I don't know if you can see it on there, but they bend out too much. If they bent in a bit more, maybe you could bend them in. It would probably be a better unit. It doesn't always contact as well as it should, and these kind of get stuck a little bit. So the other thing is as well is that it's not well. As you can see here, it's burned the plastic. Now it burnt it while I was testing it, so that's not great. It likes you to put the cells in upside down, which is peculiar, but it's not always, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing that you have to put them in upside down. As long as you remember it, it's fine. But I put them in, and you can see that this is where the problems start. Now, like I said a minute ago, this has huge potential, and I'll show you why in a minute. But here it says channel 4. I don't know if you can see it there. I might have to move this or something. Can you see it there? There's too much exposure on with this. Let me turn this off. Hopefully you can see that now. I'll turn the other one off as well, just in case. Can the camera pick that out? Yeah, there you go. So it says channel 4, but there's nothing in channel 4. So you go channel 3, but there's nothing in channel 3. Channel 2 doesn't work, and that's quite right because there's nothing in channel 2. And channel 1, it says 4.14 volts end, which means it's charged. is very dodgy. But when I had it working initially, it was good. In fact, it was special, and I'll show you why. Let me just put these in here first and see if I can get this to revive. So in channel 1 here, if I hold mode, I can choose a mode. I can go to charge, I can go to fast test, and I can go to NOR test. Now fast test, basically what it does, it discharges the cell so that you can then recharge it, and as you recharge it, it logs the amount of milliamp hours that are drawn. And this is really good. It's a really good thing if it would work. You've also got the time here as well, and all of the info is on one screen, one big screen. Again, I'm not sure if you can see. It's all on one screen, and that's perfect. What, you know, it has huge potential. You can also choose the current. So if I go to oh, it's stuck in fast test now, hang on. So I'll go to charge. Now if I go to charge, I can tap this button here, and I can choose the amount of current to charge the battery with. Now that's great, it's really good. Look, I could charge 1, 2, 3, I could charge them fast, all of them. If I knew they're high capacity cells, I could charge them all. But unfortunately, this is just not reliable. So I'll go to number 2, and I'll go to hold the mode, and while it's flashing I can choose the current, and then back to 2. So it should be charging now at 1000 milliamps or 1 amp. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know if this is reliable or not because of all of the other messing about. Like, if I take the cell out of number 2, it still says it's in there. So it's just very bizarre. So I just don't really trust it. Now it also says here the amount of internal resistance of the cell. Now that's excellent. It would be excellent if it would work. Now it says null. Oh no, now it's back. But yeah, but it so it says channel 4, channel 3. Yeah, anyway, you see what I mean. It's just doing all sorts of mad stuff. But when this was working, it was a good unit. So the reason why it got broken, oh, you see here now it says it's 4.19 volts. I don't know, you just can't rely on it. Anyway, when it was working, the reason why that got damaged there is because I did a discharge test, and for whatever reason it must have got hot, obviously, and yeah, this one has huge potential, but it's you know, there are far too many problems with it, which is a shame, but there you go. So I'll show you the box, just 1 second. Turn these lights on. Okay, so here's the box. It says Lithium Kayla Intelligent Battery Charger. The guide isn't particularly good. It has one side Chinese and it has one side English, Chinese translated. It's not particularly good, but it does have enough. It is understandable enough to be able to understand how to use the device. Anyway, as you can see, the box has no niceties whatsoever. It's just a plain box. It does, however, have this, and this is a car charger, 12 volt one. I'm not really sure why this device is 12 volts anyway. Why would it be 12 volts when it's, I don't know, who knows. Maybe it's for different chemistries or something. But of course lithium is up to 4.2 volts. I don't know why, but it is. Anyway, that's that one. Huge potential, but it really needs a bit more work. And the next one. Oh, also this one, this Lithium Kayla, whatever it's called, is £21. But I've noticed the price seems to vary between 16 to 20 or something like that. Anyway, £20 or so at the moment. So the next one comes with a pretty standard, you know, cheap-ish micro USB. It's not that cheap really, it's just, you know, it's fairly standard. I'll plug this in. I believe you're supposed to plug this into 2 amp Yeah, 2 amp. Now this one also comes with one of these cables. It's one of those, I think it's called USB-C or something. 5 volts, 2 amps input, and it clips nicely into there. Input 3, what's that one? Oh, that's is that that lightning thing? What is it called? Apple Lightning? I don't know. But anyway, you've got USB, what I think is USB-C, you've got micro USB. So that's quite handy, really. Let me go back over here. There we go, that clips in nicely. Now this one does have some rubber feet, nice rubber feet, although when they designed it, they've recessed the rubber feet so it doesn't, you know, it just slides around, which is a shame. Other than that, the actual quality of the unit is not too bad. Comes to the display, the display is actually quite good and it's easy to use. The contacts here are nice, they're the same as the Nightcore ones here. If I just get this off here, they're the same as these, like same sort of design, you know, where you pull them down nicely. The contacts at the top are also quite nice as well. As you can see, it's the same design pretty much. There's like a little bulgy bit on there that contacts really well. I'll just get these 2 cells out to show you. This of course can charge 4, and they fit in properly. They fit in nicely. You see, they don't wiggle around. It's a solid connection. So regarding this one, the quality, the build quality is fine. You can charge lots of different ones, as you can see there. The menu is pretty good as well. Now again, I might have to turn the lights off. Let me just see if this helps. Yeah, I'll have to turn the other one off as well, so you can see. There we go, that's better. So, in this one, it shows you all on one screen, without really having to do a great deal. It shows you, if I just press C, C means change the cell, or maybe just cell. So there's cell 1, it shows you that it's charging. That's how long it's been charging for, and the amount of you know, energy it's drawn so far, so 5 milliamp hour. There's its current voltage, 4.07, and there's a percentage on which you can base your assumptions of it being fully charged on. Now, if I press A, oh no, in fact I'll just tell you that this flits every few seconds between time and milliamp hour capacity. So again, if these were flat, you charge them down to say 3 volts or something, you put them in, by the time it's charged you know the capacity of course of the cell. Oh, that's one way of working out the capacity anyway. So it chooses the chemistry, it knows the chemistry already, so it's lithium ion, 4.2 volts, so it's going to charge it up to 4.2. If I press the A button, you can select the amount of amperage which the unit will allow the cells to charge at, which is quite nice. So A, we go 500 milliamps, 1 amp, 2 amps, and you can see the little indicator showing you there. I don't know if you could see that. There you go, 500 milliamps, 1 amp, 2 amps. And that's shared between the 4. So I can press C here to go to the second cell, and it shows me details about the second cell. So it's saying that the second cell is 4.19 volts and it's already charged at 100%. And I can put another cell in. And this one contacts really well. I've never had any messing about with this one like I have with the other ones. So it sees them straight away. Oh, this one also does something that the XStar one does. And that is, if you put a cell in that's overcharged, so let's say it's 4.3 volts or something like that, it doesn't seem to recognise it. I mean, I'll see if I've got one here to check. A cell that's 4.3 volts. Hang on a second. So this cell here is 4.25 volts, so it's overcharged. And you see, it doesn't recognise it, which is a bit peculiar, but that's something this one does. So it just doesn't expect them to be over 4.2 volts. bang on 4.2 volts or near there, and of course it does recognise it. Cell 4, 4.15 volts, and there we go. Now, how much was this one? This one is, I think this is about £10 or something like that. This one is £9.97. So this one's £9.97, and yeah, it's a good unit. I'll show you the box for this one now. So here's the guide. It's not such a bad guide actually. In fact, it's probably one of the best guides so far. It's nice and clear, and it's not Chinglish really. It's quite good English. But this unit is very simple anyway. It's very easy to understand. It's very intuitive. Yeah. Yeah, it's common sense really. So that's that one. Now this one, like I said, comes with this cable as well. I'm not sure why you'd want to use that, but it's there. It also comes with a nice bag as well, which is fairly good quality actually. I haven't put this in here. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's fairly good. And here's the box. Here's the box. So LCD, battery charger, they're all the compatible cells. Like, there is something that's nice about this one as well that I mentioned before. Even though it can charge these different cells, the 18650s still fit in really nicely and they don't wobble around. And there we go. So that's a review of all 5, and now I'm going to summarise them and tell you which I think is the best one. Alright, crunch time. So out of the 5, these two, made by Lithium Kayla or Lithium Carla, I'd say no straight away. Although this one has some really promising features and it could have been so good, no, the quality is just not there. It's just not there. This one again, the quality is just not there. Just not enough features to warrant the price. This is the cheapest one of them all, but it's actually not far off, and for an extra few pounds you can get something much better. Both of these aren't reliable, and even this one, as simple as it is, sometimes it's just not reliable. It's done lots of weird little things for me. Usually it's because the contact's not right or something, but once or twice I have unplugged it and plugged it back in to try and get it to work, which did work. So these two, I'd say just no. You can pay a little bit extra, get something better. In this case you pay cheaper and get better. So that's these two out. So these are, I'd say 5th and 4th. I'm not sure which one's 4th, which one's 5th, but these are 5th and 4th, okay? Okay, we have 3 left, and I'll pit these 3 against each other now. So we've got the Astrolux one and the XStar one. The Astrolux one was £10 and the XStar one's £16.67 or something like that. This one was getting on for £17. Now, you know, they both have bags, which is great. You can't really criticise them about giving a bag. I mean, you know, a bag is a bag, but this one is slightly better. Or I'd say more than slightly better. It's a lot better. But of course, like I said, a bag is just a bag. The cables are pretty much the same, although this one probably has a slightly better cable really, but if you do lose that cable you can't use the unit, you have to buy a new one, which again is not the end of the world. The build quality is comparable, I'd say, although this one has rubber feet and this one has them recessed, which is a bit weird, but that's the way it is. This one, the cells have a tendency to wobble around, and this one they don't. In this one here, you can choose the charging power, and in this one you can't. This one shows how much time they've been charging for, and this one doesn't. They both show the amount of milliamp hour capacity which has gone into the cells during charging. This one shows the voltage, the current voltage, and this one doesn't really. It's got like a kind of a clock style thing. It doesn't really show you in between 4.15 and 4.2, which is quite critical really when it comes to the end of the charging cycle. This one also isn't great for choosing the channel. It shows you 1 and 4 and 2 and 3, and it's not great if sometimes it's confusing. Like if it doesn't recognise what's in channel 3 or 4, it can be really confusing when you cycle through. This one doesn't have that problem. It's just straightforward. It's easy. You put the cell in and there's a space there for 4, you press CC to get to 4, it's just much simpler. So out of these two, bearing in mind the cost, this one is the clear winner of the two. Yeah. Okay, so looking at the packaging quality, this one clearly has much better packaging, but then again, it's only packaging, so who really cares? You're not going to be using the packaging, you're probably going to just throw it away anyway, so whatever. When it comes to the build quality of the two, this one has the better build quality. But I would say it's marginal. I mean, this doesn't have bad build quality, you know, it's okay. Apart from the feet, of course, they've recessed the feet. This one doesn't slide around, it's really good, really well designed. Whereas this one, you know, not quite. But then, you know, it's not the end of the world. This one has a bag and this one doesn't. Again, it doesn't really matter too much. The quality of this here, these paddle things, which does matter, these are really good. You can tell that it's a premium product. These ones are fairly good. It's based on the same design, I can see that. The shape is similar, the design is similar. And here you can see that it's similar again, the way these kind of stick out. It's the same sort of design. So this one's fairly good too. This one sadly only charges 2 cells, whereas this one charges 4, and that's a major plus for this one, and a major negative for this one. The display is good on both, although this one's slightly more complicated, and the values seem to be kind of thrown around. They don't seem to be in a logical place, which again is making me go for this one. This one apparently can charge up to 3 amps, providing you have the correct adapter, whereas this one's 2 amps. This one you can set the charge current specifically, and this one you can't set them specifically or individually. You can just say, you know, I want them all to charge at 500 milliamps, or all to charge 1 amp or 2 amps. But that would be sufficient really if you think about it. If you're charging a few cells, I don't suppose you really want to say, oh, I want this to charge at 200 milliamp. You know, I don't really think it works that way. So maybe this one's aimed more at an enthusiast or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, this one's £23 and this one's just under £10. Anyway, if you're looking for something that's really good quality and you're looking to charge 2 cells and you don't mind paying £23, this is probably a better bet. Otherwise, if you're looking for value and you want to charge 4 cells, I'd say this is the better bet. And for me, this is the one I'd go for, because, you know, it's more than half of the price of this one. The quality is still fairly good, and ultimately it can charge 4 cells and not 2. So, for me, this is the clear winner. And here's a look at it once again. So, this is the Astrolux VC04. And there we go. There are the cells that it can charge. Like I said, you get 2 cables with it, and there's the box. Oh yeah, and you got the bag as well. Time for it to go to sleep. Okay everyone, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Bye!